Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the TV6 Digital Desk live stream. My name is Molly Birch, and I'll be taking you through a recap of today's headlines. This stream runs every night starting at 8/7 Central Time from Sunday to Thursday. Feel free to comment and ask any questions you have in the chat as you feel like it. I'll do my best to keep an eye on those and answer them as we go or after the stream as well. And this runs on Facebook and YouTube. You can watch it on whichever platform you'd prefer. Now let's get, with all of that business out of the way, let's get started and take a look at our first story for tonight. A proposal for local control of solar and wind farms will not be on your November ballot. As we have reported, a group called Citizens for Local Choice circulated petitions. Its goal to return control over wind and solar farms to local governments. After a law signed last year, the State Public Service Commission can now sign off on large-scale developments. Opponents to the change had 180 days to collect 357,000 signatures to get their proposal before lawmakers or on the November ballot. The group says it's now focused on a 2026 ballot initiative because it could not meet today's signature deadline. And a copper mine in Gogebic County is now one step closer to being built. State Appropriations Committees reviewed a $50 million proposal that would support Highland Copper's Copperwood Mine project. The money that would come from the State Strategic Outreach and Attraction Reserve Fund. Last week, lawmakers had questions for Highland Copper CEO and supporters. One senator asked him if the copper mine would stay in Michigan or in the U.S.
Both of you in your presentation said you're going to need this for the battery plants and the things that you're trying to do here, yet there's nothing in the agreement from what I was able to gather that it will come back to our state.
There isn't really copper refining capacity in the U.S., so having it leave the U.S. doesn't mean it leaves U.S. ownership. We are in discussion with and would absolutely love to be supplying our copper directly to Michigan industry, and we'll be doing everything in our power to secure those arrangements.
Senator Ed McBroom says votes are scheduled for next week, and he's highly confident this project will receive state funding. And Teal Lake is going to be more accessible this summer. The city of Ishpeming is teaming up with the city of Negaunee and the Rotary Club of Ishpeming for a joint dock project. City leaders say it was made possible through a recreation passport grant from the DNR and donations from both communities. The project will add a dock for canoes, kayaks, and rowing sculls on the east side of the lake and a dock for canoes and kayaks on the west side. Ishpeming City Manager Craig Cugini says the docks will also be ADA accessible.
Just basically trying to make this gem of a lake more accessible to more people. And by making it ADA accessible, it also affords people that have challenges opportunity to get in there and get into the water safely. And so we're really excited about that.
Crews will start the project the week of June 17th. It will be open to the public 2 weeks after that. If you want to go camping but don't have a tent or camping gear or even the right vehicle, a new business in Escanaba could be the solution. Wander Up Overland has 2 four-wheel Jeeps. They come equipped with a rooftop tent with a king-size mattress. There's also a cook stove, utensils, camp chairs, and more. Owners Lynn and Amber Hartman say they rented a similar unit on vacation. They decided to bring the idea back to the UP.
I think the biggest thing is we want people to know that yes, you can do this. I've set it up a few times and people are like, it's going to take me a half hour, right? I'm like, no, it's going to take a couple of minutes. We're going to show you how. It's easy to do. You can do this.
The Hartmans say the only things campers need to provide are sleeping bags, pillows, fuel for the car and the stove, and a sense of adventure. And in continuing coverage, an April storm put Menominee County's power grid to the test, knocking out power and damaging infrastructure county-wide. 2 months later, power has returned while damage remains. Private damage was minimal thanks to teamwork between many different agencies. TV6's Cody Boyer spoke with Thomas Phillips and the National Weather Service, looking into what county agencies learned from that storm for the future.
I know some people were frustrated, but the power companies did a marvelous job.
To Menominee County Emergency Management Coordinator Tom Phillips, a storm as intense as the one that blasted the southwest UP on the night of April 2nd requires a response to match.
Within Menominee County, we have 3 major power companies.
Phillips says the storm ripped through substations, leaving many businesses from Stevenson to Menominee relying on generators. All the while, meteorologists at the National Weather Service, like Matt Zika, were in touch.
When we look at the snow events that we see throughout the winter season, obviously the ones that happen early in the winter, those usually are the ones that cause the most issue with regards to power outages.
Zika says they helped Phillips and other emergency managers in surrounding counties plan ahead.
We'll start messaging and getting the word out to the important decision makers in the community, emergency managers, letting them know this heavy wet snow is coming. It's going to be combined with some strong winds.
We were lucky a couple things. It wasn't like January when it was very brutal cold type temperatures, where it would have made it harder on the people that sheltered in place.
When hours spent in the dark turned into days, he says the county had to rely on warming centers.
We did a hot wash of it. We sat down, we looked at what happened and looked at all the different parts, and looked at what we did, what we could do better, what we need to do different. Really opened the eyes of the local municipalities because we had been working towards establishing a network of warming centers.
To do that, Phillips says his department broke the response down to 3 steps.
It's a 3-pronged thing. First thing is always life safety. We worry about people and stuff and try to keep people safe and take care of them.
Second, incident stabilization.
When we have a severe weather event, we have a power outage, which is bad enough, and we want to keep it with that. We don't want to have people being involved with getting into contact with electrical lines and stuff. We want it stabilized incident.
And third,
property conservation. You look at a lot of farmers and grocery stores and businesses where they have stuff that are in freezers.
Phillips says his crews were canvassing the county, checking in with grocery stores and businesses for generators.
They actually had them in operation, and now more are looking to jump on board and put in the backup power for their town halls and village centers and stuff so that we have more locations utilized.
All the while praising the efforts of teams from across the country.
The utility companies actually did draw in crews from 5 different states, some as far away as Virginia, I believe, to come to assist with this.
Saying it's a situation they weren't expecting, but were ready for.
That's the first I've seen where we've had so many outside agencies brought in, and the way they just mixed right in with our local crews and that, they did a fantastic job.
Thanks, Cody. It's important to note some of the damaged poles you saw in both yesterday's report and tonight's are also communication poles not owned by WEC Energy Group. Looking ahead, Zika says the NWS is seeing a trend where winters are hanging on longer into the early spring, with 15 of the last 20 Aprils having snowstorms in excess of 10 inches. And happening now, a new conference will help you get inspired by the nature surrounding Marquette and the UP. Fresh Water, Fresh Voices is a 3-day conference designed to get you in touch with nature, your own creativity, and the history of the area. They are offering workshops about music, writing, and film. You can also take part in half-day adventures like kayaking, a walking tour of Marquette, or a hike. An organizer says everyone is welcome to get inspired regardless of experience level.
That's the idea, is to be inspired by these people who are writers, songwriters, even journalists who are writing about the region or inspired by the region. Or other places, and how to connect with those things.
You can attend one day or the entire conference. It goes from July 15th to 18th at the NMU campus. Registration is open now. And a new program gives the siblings of kids with special needs across the UP a chance to meet. The Upper Peninsula Sib Shop is part of the nationwide Sib Shop program. It provides an opportunity for kids in similar situations to get together. The first meeting is next month in Marquette County. It will feature games, snacks, and time for the kids to play. The Upper Peninsula Sib Shop facilitator says the goal is to give kids someone to talk to.
One of our main goals essentially is just to get them to be able to talk to each other about maybe something they can't talk to other kids about that don't know what they're going through. It's not therapy. It's just being able to hang out and relax and talk, like they might not talk to their parents and things like that.
The first meeting is scheduled for June 8th at the Functional Behavioral Services Playground. To register, visit the Upper Peninsula Sib Shop Facebook page and fill out the registration form. And finally, tonight on the TV6 Digital Desk live stream, the Upper Peninsula Animal Welfare Shelter is now accepting photos of pets for its 2025 calendar. You can help the shelter raise money for its daily operations by sending in a photo of your pet for $10. Voters will then choose their 11 favorite pictures throughout July. The 12th winner will be selected by a random drawing. UPAWS will also put your pet's picture on the calendar on any day of your choice for a $15 donation. UPAWS says the money will go right back to the animals.
We depend on donations and grants and the support of our community with fundraisers and such.
You can enter the contest at uppermichigansource.com or the TV6 and Fox UP mobile news app. And that's all the stories we have for you tonight. Be sure to tune in right back here on Facebook at 8:45 tomorrow morning. TV6's Mandy Koskela and Michael Sobek will recap top stories from the morning on their show, Beyond Your Morning News. If you have a story idea you think we should report on, feel free to contact us at any time. These are a few easy ways to get a hold of both myself and others in the newsroom. And again, you can contact us at any time. We would love to hear from you and what's happening in your community. Thank you all again for joining me live at the TV6 Digital Desk. Have a great rest of your night.